Hi, and welcome to another episode of Design Jamaica. In this video, we'll map and critique the proposed extension of the East-West Highway between Williamsfield in Manchester and Black River in St. Elizabeth. So now, as you may know by now, this road stretches all the way from Cape Manners in St. Catherine, currently ending in Williamsfield. The very first segment, bypassing Old Harbour between Sandy Bay and Gutters, was completed in 2003. And there was a segment between Gutters and Cape Manners, completed in 2006. Sandy Bay to Maypen, completed in 2012. And finally, Maypen to Williamsfield, completed in 2023. The next alignment of this highway originally was to go from Williamsfield to Montego Bay via Balaclava and Magotty. Then it was shifted further south to bypass Mandeville, Spur Hill, Junction, Southfield, Treasure Beach, and ended up in Udges just on the west side of Black River. And then just recently in the 2026-27 budget debate, Dr. the Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, intimated on a map showing two highways for St. Elizabeth. One to the south, continuing from Williamsfield through Spur, bypassing Mandeville, Spur Hill, Junction, Southfield, Treasure Beach, and Black River. But then there was something else on this map that got us thinking, huh? This map is now showing a second highway branching off from the bottom of Spur Hill, heading north along the mountainside, then curves south along the border, crossing over into St. Elizabeth, then heads west bypassing Goshen and Santa Cruz, which we think the southern alignment that will go through Treasure Beach and Southfield should have been aligned, because Santa Cruz is the most crucial town within the parish of St. Elizabeth. There's literally nothing much to bypass in southern St. Elizabeth. I mean, the largest town down there, which is Junction, is just over 4,000 people. So the highway continues to Middle Quarters, where it will meet the proposed Long Hill bypass. Yes, the Long Hill bypass, which should continue from Montpelier to meet this highway in Middle Quarters, which will finally give us access to Montego Bay, then continue southwest to meet again the southern alignment in Black River, and then continue on to Negril. Now on this channel, if you notice, we highlight the numeric coding of our highways a lot. I mean, we even use them way more than how we use highway names, because in Jamaica it's not really in our culture to use highway codings. I don't even think that most of us Jamaicans even know what a highway coding means, or the numeric names, or the numeric form of naming our highways. For example, we have T1, T2, T3 for our toll highways, A1, A2, A3, and A4 for our main road highways, and B1 to 12 for our secondary roads. I can bet you up until this very moment, most of you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. Except if you're living in the United States. Yeah, for those living in the States would know, because they mostly use numeric codes for their highways over there, except for New York. Yeah, New Yorkers don't use it, even though they have it. But like us, New Yorkers rather to call a highway by the person it was named after. In this case, most likely a politician, like the Bustamante Highway, PJ Patterson Highway, Edward Seaga Highway, and it goes on and on and on. Yes, we rather call it the names, because we just love feeling for politicians them bad for some reason, I don't know, treating them like kings and queens. But over here at Design Jamaica, we respect our politicians and respect the offices that they hold, but we don't see them as kings and queens. No. So we rather to use the numeric form of naming our highways. So most likely you are going to hear us say T3 instead of Edward Seaga Highway. Yes. And not just for that reason, when it comes to traveling or commute, if you're using Google Maps for navigation, your map is most likely going to tell you T1, turn left on T2, turn right on A3, continue on T3 to continue north for Kingston or Mandeville. It's most likely going to tell you that, rather than Edward Seaga Highway or PJ Patterson Highway. Plus, why do we rather the longer names? I really don't know. Do you know that it is easier to get lost in Jamaica? As small as it is easier to get lost in Jamaica than it is to get lost in the United States, for example, as large as that country is, based on how effective they number, name, and navigate their highways. And let me give you an example. If you're on the West Coast, for example, the interstate highway system or the US highway system. You can easily know that you are on the West Coast by just seeing one of those red and blue shields without even seeing a sign marked "Welcome to California," based on how they numerically number their highways. If you're in California, most likely going to be on I-5 north-south or I-10 east-west or I-80 east-west. If you're in the center of the country, like in Texas or in Chicago, you're most likely going to be on I-90, I-80 east-west or I-35 north-south. See how the numbers are getting larger the further east and the further north you go. And on the east, the big bad I-95 shield tells you that yes, you are on the East Coast. Even in more details, odd-numbered highways goes north-south and even numbered highways goes east-west. And there are even way more details on how they number their highways, but this video is not about the United States, this is about Jamaica. But just to show you the proactive effectiveness when it comes to naming our highways and practicing using the numeric names of our highways rather than the politician names, how effective it could be, especially when it comes to navigation. And trust me, based on how I see we even numerically name our highways, it's just messy. Oh Lord, trust me, we got to do some changes to this map, and that's a different video. I certainly will be doing a video on re-enumerating our highways to make them more effective in navigation. So currently in Jamaica we have our toll roads, and T1, that really stands for toll or turnpike. Currently there is T1, which is the PJ Patterson Highway / the Maypen to Williamsfield Highway, T2, which is the Portmore Expressway, and the T3, which is the Edwards-Seaga Highway. Unlike the United States, which number their highways based on location, in Jamaica we number them in sequence based on when they were built. For example, T1 was built before T2, T2 was built before T3. So right away you can see clearly what will be the numeric code for the Montego Bay bypass / the Long Hill bypass, T4, because that's the highway that is currently under construction, and whichever highway starts after that one would most likely be T5, which seems to me that number will most likely go to the north-south highway extension between Discovery Bay and Prospect in St. Mary. Yes, and the reason why I think so is that that area, that corridor between Discovery Bay and Ocho Rios, is a very popular, touristy, and very busy area. It is growing very fast. So I think the government will prioritize building that road before any other highway in Jamaica. And then after that, I see them extending the east-west highway between Williamsfield and Black River, right? Or Hodges, which most likely would be T6 and T7 respectively, because it's two highways. Certainly we won't see a continuation of T1 because that highway stops just at the Melrose intersection outside Porus, and then the Melrose bypass carries the dualization up to Williamsfield, where it will meet this new proposed highway. That is a highway we are going to map and critique today. So now we are going to map and then critique, and we're starting with this one right here, where the current Melrose bypass left off here at Williamsfield, which we are projecting will be T6. And this leg of the highway, which would be the Mandeville bypass, so it will go north of the Williamsfield roundabout, north of the old Windalco Kurt Van plant, through Kendall, and then curves to the south all the way down to Spur, where it will meet the proposed highway that will go from here to Santa Cruz and Bill Quarters, which we are projecting will be T7. Then the T6 continues all the way down to Downs, continues south through to Downs, where it will then curve west to Junction, curving south, bypassing Junction, and then curves west, bypassing Top Hill, Southfield, and of course Treasure Beach. And I'm sure you would have different access for all these towns here in southern St. Elizabeth. And then the highway continues northwest into the Black River area, bypassing it to the north and ending up in Hodges. From Hodges, the highway continues into Westmoreland, running concurrent with the current A2 Bain Road, mostly to the north, bypassing certain towns such as White House and Bluefields, and then bypasses Seven Lamar to the north, all the way through to Little London, where it will meet the site where the proposed Negril International Airport should be built, and then curves to the northwest all the way through to Negril, cutting through the Negril wetlands, and then terminating at the Norman Manley Boulevard near to the Hanover border. Okay, so now we're going to head back to Spur Hill, where this new highway between Spur and Black River. Now this is the highway that was recently introduced and added onto the map to bypass Goshen, Santa Cruz, and Middle Quarters, taking you to Black River with connections to Montego Bay via the Long Hill bypass. Now this one is very imperative because, as you know, Santa Cruz, the largest town within the parish, needs a proper bypass. A matter of fact, we think that this bypass will be even more crucial than that one that goes through southern St. Elizabeth, and let this highway go through Santa Cruz, and then you can have a connection from Santa Cruz all the way down to the Treasure Beach, Southfield area, and improve those roads that will take you back to Junction. Rather than bringing an entire highway all the way down that section. We really don't think that that's needed. Just build one highway from Spur Hill. This one will do. Bring it to Santa Cruz, have a connection from there to Treasure Beach. I would say let it parallel the old road between Lacovia through Burn Savannah all the way down to Treasure Beach. Yes, run it along that corridor, and then continue this highway all the way to Negril via Lacovia, connecting with that north-south leg to meet up with the Long Hill bypass to bring you to Montego Bay, then down to the Hodges Black River area, and then on to Negril. Makes better sense than to build two east-west highway through St. Elizabeth going in the same direction. And then why junction them at Spur Hill? Is it because of the importance of Mandeville nearby? Why junction them here? We really don't see the need for that. And then to have two exits from the Spur Hill main road, so you have one for the highway that is going to Santa Cruz and another for the highway that is going through southern St. Elizabeth. I mean, one highway for St. Elizabeth will do, heading east-west. I literally think it's a waste of resources. While we're doing this, bringing these two highways through St. Elizabeth, we could be building a highway somewhere else that needs a highway, like building a highway from Maypen to Discovery Bay. I think that would be way more important, and that is one thing we should be looking into, the original alignment of the north-south highway between Maypen and Discovery Bay. That is needed, and then bring it all the way to Vernon Field. So these places are places that would do great and have better use for an essential highway that connects both ends of the island in the middle. You're talking about two major population and economical meccas, which is Maypen and also the Great North Coast, the growing North Coast. Rather than building two expensive highways within the same parish, not far from each other, going into the same direction. It really makes not much sense. But anyway, we are going to map this proposed new highway, which we project will be T7, and it begins right here at the Spur Hill main road, the junction with the highway from Williamsfield to Hodges, or to Negril, continues northwest along the border east side, and then descend down into St. Elizabeth, bypassing Wilton, Pepper, and Goshen into the Santa Cruz area, where it will bypass the town. And this highway will parallel the A2, but will stay north of it for most of the journey, bypassing Lacovia and Holland Bamboo to the north, and all the way into Middle Quarters, where it will junction with the T4. Yes, this is the same road that will connect us with the Long Hill bypass that will get us into Montego Bay. From Middle Quarters, the highway turns southwest all the way into the Hodges Black River area, where it will intersect with the proposed T6 that will bring you west to Negril, or if you want to go east to southern St. Elizabeth, Santa Cruz, Treasure Beach, all the way back to Junction and to Mandeville, you can also take this road to those places. We're also projecting that one of these roads will not be a toll road, probably the one to southern St. Elizabeth, because I don't think they would want to toll this road, because, you know, if you're heading to Negril or Montego Bay from Kingston, I don't think anyone would want to take that road unless you're heading to Treasure Beach or to Junction. That's the only way you'll take that road. You understand? So I hardly think they will toll that road. I think that road will be a free road, something like what exists at Melrose Hill or the Paul Bogle Highway, you know, which are dual carriageways, but they are not tolled. Certainly, they are going to toll the highway to the north, though the one that bypasses Santa Cruz, because that's the highway that will get you to Montego Bay from Kingston, Mandeville, Maypen, or wherever. That highway is of a greater need than the one to the south. So yes, this is the one that we are projecting that will be a toll road. The one to the south will not be a toll road. In terms of construction timeline and of course completion date, well, currently we have the Montego Bay Perimeter Road. The Montego Bay bypass is slated to be open in September of this year, not very far from now. It was slated to be open in May, but when I watch Drone View JA's channel, and of course the Montegonian himself, Mr. Brown Boss, both of these gentlemen give us regular coverage of the Montego Bay bypass and the Long Hill bypass. So we want to shout out to both gentlemen for doing that. The most recent video that I watched was from Drone View JA, and see where he was showing his recent footage of the Montego Bay bypass. There's still a whole lot of work needs to be done. I know that could not be ready anytime before May, and even September still looks slim to me. I don't think that will be ready for September either. I say give it until February of next year. That is what I'm saying. And as for the Long Hill bypass, the government is saying 2027. We are saying 2029, and we push these dates back to these times because we have seen on many occasions where when it comes to highway completion dates, they have never been met. So we are pushing these projects back by 2 years. Yes, to make it sound and look more realistic. As for when these two extensions of the East-West Highway will begin, and anytime soon. Trust me on that one. Probably not for this decade. Already they have started the Port Antonio bypass, so we are projecting that when the Long Hill bypass is finished in 2029, we will see they start some work on the extension of the North-South Highway between Ocho Rios and Discovery Bay. We are expecting that one to be completed sometime around 2035. A matter of fact, the only time that we have seen them doing two highways at once is when they were extending the East-West Highway between Maple and Williamsfield, along with the Southern Highway over in St. Thomas. Those are the only time I can remember them doing two highways at once, otherwise it's always one at a time. Right now we're seeing them doing the Montego Bay and the Long Hill bypasses. So we are projecting that by the time they finish with Port Antonio, they should be starting up the East-West extension between Williamsfield and Hodges. We are projecting that should be sometime between 2032 and 2033. As for when that piece of road between Anchovy and Lucy, the Lucy bypass, the Lucy to Anchovy extension of the Long Hill bypass, as for when that one will begin, I don't know that either. Probably sometime around in the mid 2030s, but trust me. Let's hope. I mean, you never know. Right now we're about to start producing oil, so let's say the revenue start coming and we can afford to at least building 3 highways at a time, then we may see the timeline for these highway completions being earlier. I mean, we are not the government and we are not seeking votes, so we're not trying to give you good news in order to get your vote. We're not trying to sell you good news to get your vote. We are giving you as how it is. We are just being realistic here. Okay? I mean, just look at the logics. The Montego Bay bypass started construction sometime around 2022. Now we are in 2026. These highway construction in Jamaica normally run anywhere between 3.5, 4 to 5 years. So you do the math. You see what I mean? So yes, we are closely approaching 20 minutes and we do not want to go to 20 minutes because this video never have to take so long, so we don't want to go to that. So we're going to get out of here. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments. And I also want to implore you to check out our other channel, Jawade Reviews, the hashtag @Jawade Reviews, where you will see the big boss himself, Travis Hansen, the man himself in person, critiquing videos like these, reviewing them, not just about infrastructural development, but from entertainment to sports to politics, everything, whatever is happening in the current affairs space, he reviews them, and you can even talk to him on a live. Sometime he will do live. So please go over there and subscribe. It's at Jawade Reviews. I think there should be an extension of this video and other videos that we have done over here. So check it out. The link is posted right here on the screen or in the description. So please go over there and subscribe to Jawade Reviews. Until next time, my name is Travis Curious, aka Bro, and I'm out of here.
This has been Design Jamaica. If you or anyone you know are about content like these and would love to see more content like this one on wide-scale development across Jamaica, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to DJC, Design Jamaica and the Caribbean. Leave a comment and please turn on your post notification bell so you can be notified whenever new content like these are out showcasing developments across Jamaica and also the wider Caribbean. Love for girls, Andrea said that, new to the Design Jamaica team, known as FJW's Catwalk Supreme. If you want to see more of me, catch me over on the others. You probably recognize me as the secret lover of such person. Insane one. Over on our sister channel, Jantars, or on the Catwalk.
Brought to you by Films by Jawed. Follow us on all social media platforms.